What is going on, you broke ass Timmies? Hope y'all are having a nice weekend out here broke as fuck. We're all just out here vibing with our empty wallets. We are just here today to have a little chat about collecting. I've been meaning to make this video for a while. I've talked about bits and pieces of things that I'm going to mention in this video in prior videos, but I've never sat down and fully dedicated a video to this topic. We're going to do that today, and the topic of today's video is you don't need to buy everything. I know Pokemon's catchphrase is gotta catch 'em all, but if we're being honest, you literally can't catch 'em all. You can't buy everything that you want in this hobby. You can't. You just can't. There's too much, and you shouldn't. And we're going to talk about why that is today. So for a lot of us, but especially for those of you who are new here, the Pokemon hobby can feel extremely overwhelming, mostly because of the sheer amount of products that are out there available to buy. And also because Pokemon's been around for 30 years. So if you just got into Pokemon, that's 30 years of products that you want to catch up on. And they are not slowing down whatsoever. Pokemon is in full speed ahead mode right now. I feel like every time I open Instagram, I see a new collab that they're doing with another brand. To name a few I've seen just this year, we've got the Secret Lab gaming chair collab. Those are so fucking cool. I want one of those so bad. I've seen them do a collab with King Ice jewelry. You can get yourself nice big Pikachu chain. The pinball machine thing that looks fucking awesome. They've done makeup collabs, there's Funko Pops, clothes, plushies, toys, and then of course the trading cards, which get released every couple months. Take it from me, okay, I've been in this hobby for a little bit over 20 years now. That's crazy. I'm just an old lady, but I'm here to offer you my wisdom so that maybe you don't have to experience the things that I had to learn the hard way. Trying to catch them all will inevitably result in collector burnout. It's literally impossible to keep up with all of the things that Pokemon's releasing, especially if you just got here. There's just too much. So where do you go from here? How should you collect? Is there a way to collect that won't burn you out quickly so you can keep enjoying this hobby? Yes, there is. So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, obviously, a lot of what I'm talking about in this video today is opinionated and stems from my own experience. I have experienced the collector burnout that we're talking about today on a couple occasions, but the two that stand out to me are during my early 20s, where, to be honest with you, I wasn't intentionally buying anything. I was kind of just buying everything. And that is the fastest, most effective way that you're going to burn out. The best way to avoid this burnout, the answer to everything, is simply curating. In case you don't know what curating means, or you need some context on that, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, guys. A lot of you probably know what it means, but I could not, off the top of my head give you a definition personally, so I'm just gonna let you know what Google says curating is. To curate a collection means you're intentionally selecting, organizing, and presenting items with a clear purpose or vision, rather than just accumulating random stuff. Curating my collection is something that I've been working on a lot this past year, but like I was saying, I've been whittling down items in my own collection because I'm really at a point where I want my collections to be only made up of things that I actually love, things that really mean something to me, things that I'm actually going to use or enjoy, things that add value to my collection, not just monetarily, but sentimental value, emotional value, artistic value, whatever it may be, and just include items that speak to what I love so much about these hobbies that I collect in. Now, of course, you can go about this any way you want. Personally, the way I do it is I sort of sit down and figure out exactly what I want to own in my collections, and more importantly, why? Why do I want to own this card, this video game, this collectible? Is it really going to add some kind of value to my collection? What kind of value is this going to add to my collection? And again, when I say value, I'm not talking about monetary value. That's really not something that super concerns me about my collections. But what is this doing for me? What is this item doing for me? Do I love the artwork? Is it something nostalgic for me to look at? Is it a video game that I'm actually going to play? Do I actually love this card so much that I'm going to spend lots of money on it? That type of thing. Some other questions I like to ask myself is, do I have space for this item? Obviously, when you're buying something, you want to make sure that you have space for it. For example, Tom back there, I have a pretty large room. So when I went to buy Tom, that wasn't necessarily a concern for me, but moving forward, if, you know, any other store display, standee type of things pop up, I am gonna have to think about it because he does take up a lot of space. I love the fact that I own that. I'm literally never getting rid of it. I was just using him as an example, but you see what I'm saying. Another good question is, do I have the funds for this? Is this something I have to save up for? Kind of tying into that, do I want this item more than maybe some other items in my collection? Because if that's the case, you can actually take some of those older items in your collection, trade them in for this other thing that you'd rather have, which obviously helps to keep your costs pretty low. But I'm getting a little bit off track. Basically what I'm trying to get at here is you shouldn't be impulsively buying things. When you stop just impulsively buying anything and everything in the hobby and maybe just put a little more thought into why you might want this thing, you end up with a collection that is a little more curated to you and your style and the things that you love in this hobby. And when you ask yourself that question of why do I want this item so bad for my collection, and all you can really think of is because I like it, that is fine. I mean, you can buy stuff just because you like it. I'm not saying you can't do that, but I would encourage you to dig a little deeper. There's nothing wrong with buying things simply because you like them or simply because they make you happy for some reason. Can't always pinpoint why certain things make you happy, that's fine. But it definitely helps with decision making and budgeting if you're able to kind of figure out why you might like an item enough to spend money on it, really get to the root of like why you want this in your collection. Throughout my collecting journey personally, there has probably been hundreds of times that I purchased something for my collection without really thinking about it, not having any idea why I'm buying these things, and then I'd end up trading them off some years later when I realized, maybe I don't need that. Or there's also been hundreds of times where I've purchased a pack of Pokemon cards or an ETB or something and inevitably pull nothing and think to myself, I just wasted all that money. I've said this before, but I really encourage everybody to be a little more specific and make themselves a list with collecting goals. Personally, I just use my notes app. You can obviously make a spreadsheet or do something a little more organized and fancy. I just use my notes app because that way, every time I'm out at a convention or a card shop or a video game store, I have that list with me to help remind me what I'm really searching for, what my real collecting goals are at the moment. And I'm not saying you can never impulse buy something, guys. Obviously, here and there, you're gonna impulse buy something in a collecting space. But I think the less you do it, the more fulfilled you'll be with your collection. Some general tips I just wanna offer is one, just take your time. It's not a race. And honestly, in most cases, the item you want, it's not really going anywhere. It might get a little more pricey or whatever over time, but it's not really going anywhere. There's probably hundreds to thousands of the item that you want, and you'll always be able to find it on eBay or some other secondary market. Unless you're a super niche collector like me, then you have to have a little bit more urgency about it because sometimes things pop up that I have never seen again. But for all you card collectors out there are very few cards out there that you're never gonna see again. Like I said, they might be a little more expensive at some point in time, but they'll be around. So take your time, take it day by day, week by week, month by month. Make sure you're, really budgeting, just keeping those goals in mind without just going crazy and buying everything and all of it right away. Second tip is to save up for the more expensive items that you want for your collection. As much as we all hate it, there are collectibles that we all want that are very expensive, whether it's a card or a video game or a figure or even just a plushie. We all have grails, we all have items that we want for our collection that are more expensive than things that we would typically buy. Personal example, I'm very into resin statues right now of Pokemon. Those can run from like $500 to $1,000 and I don't even think they're licensed, but I really like them. I think they just bring the Pokemon to life, the characters to life. I literally bought this glass display case back here that I'm trying to put together to display my resin statues in. And I think that a lot of people give up on the idea of ever owning some of their grails, and you definitely do not have to do that. Like, if you save up and you don't buy anything else for your collection for a month, 2 months, 6 months, however long it takes, you will eventually get there to the point where you can buy that grail item. I recently bought one of my grail cards that I've been after for probably like a decade, and because of that, I haven't bought any cards at all, or like hardly anything at all for my collection in general for a couple months because it was a really expensive card. So I haven't purchased anything for a couple months. I don't plan to the next month either get any new cards or anything, but that's okay with me because it's way more fulfilling for me to have acquired one of my grails than to just be buying random singles. And there's nothing wrong with buying random singles. I'm just saying, if you go a while without spending any money in your hobbies, there is a good chance you'll be able to save up for one of your ultimate grails. Seeing as it's in a reasonable price, obviously you're not going to go out and get an Illustrator Pikachu or anything. And if you don't really have any expensive grail cards, that's great too. Just keep yourself on a steady budget and be more intentional with your purchases, and you'll have a great curated collection as well. And my last tip for you guys is don't compare. Comparison is the thief of joy. I don't remember who said that, whose quote that is, but it's true. Don't compare your collection to everybody else's collections online. Everybody collects differently and for different reasons. Everybody's circumstances are different. Everyone has different budgets. Everyone's been in the hobby for different amounts of time. Some people have been doing it for a crazy long time, and that's why they have been able to acquire so much cool stuff that's probably gone up in value and things like that. But that's their collection. Do you know how many collection tours I watch? It's like all I watch on YouTube is other people's video game collection tours, collection tours of anything. I watched one lady who collects Pez dispensers. I love watching what other people are passionate about. It's just something that's really fun to me. But do you know how many of these video game room tours, they all have the exact same shit, even down to the exact same CRT? Like, they have all the same stuff. That is just lame. That's just like boring. Your collection does not need to be like all these other people you've seen. I love watching collection videos or just following collection accounts, like where people showcase their collection on like Instagram or something. I love following those accounts and watching those videos where you can tell that the collector is just super passionate about every single item in their collection. Sometimes they have crazy stuff, sometimes they don't, but it's so much fun to watch somebody just be like super passionate and just have so much love for their collection, no matter how much it's worth, no matter what kind of crazy rare stuff they have or not. You can always tell when someone's really passionate about their collection when they always have like a story that goes with every item or a specific reason that they bought something. And that's just how it should be, guys. You should love your collection. Don't try and build something that's just a replica of somebody else's passion. Build a collection that speaks to you and, tells your own story here in this hobby. It speaks to why you love the hobby so much. Coming from experience, guys, collecting with intent is so much more fulfilling than if you're just being impulsive and trying to buy everything and keep up with everything that Pokemon's releasing. Trying to open every new set, get every new big hit, or collect stuff before it goes up in price, or, FOMOing into things essentially, where the collecting side of your brain and your wallet are pulled like 40 different directions. Prevent the burnout, curate your collection, and just build something that you really love. I hope that this video gets at least one person out there thinking a little bit smarter about their collecting habits and saves even one person from the deadly collector burnout. It's a real thing, guys. It's a real thing. That is all I have for you guys today. Make sure you stay broke out there, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!